The college football regular season is now officially a thing of the past and the ultra-competitive bowl season is upon us. Like the year-end holidays, it's a wonderful time for college football fans to kick back, relax and enjoy some football and an unparalleled atmosphere. Of course, with the bowl games come the potential for surprises. Some teams will be motivated to play their best, while others are happy to finally end their seasons, leading to plenty of upsets. Here's a look at 15 potential college bowl games upsets. 15 Boise State vs. Oregon. 7 Las Vegas Bowl, Deck. 16 The Ducks have seen the spread get as high as 8, which is likely attributed to the play of sophomore quarterback Justin Herbert, who has ignited offensive dominance. But despite that, there's no denying Oregon's overall inconsistency this season and struggles against ranked teams. 3 The Ducks will also be somewhat short-handed with running back Royce Freeman missing the game. The Broncos, meanwhile, are capable of riding the shoulders of running back Alexander Mattison and quarterback Brett Rypien, who helped lead the team to multiple wins over top 25 teams this year. 14 Colorado State 5.5 vs. Marshall, Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, Deck. 16 The Rams are a well-balanced team averaging over 500 yards of total offense per game, but they faltered down the stretch, going 13 over their final 4 games. On the other side of that coin, the Thundering Herd allow fewer than 20 points per game, but also struggled down the stretch, going 14 over their final 5 games. Needless to say, the New Mexico Bowl pits two recently struggling teams against each other in a matchup of strong offense versus strong defense. That strong defense may pave the way to a bowl upset. 13 Louisiana Tech vs. SMU 5.0 DXL Frisco Bowl, Deck. 20 The Mustangs enter the Frisco Bowl with a potent and high-power defense, but the Bulldogs are no slouches, either. While Louisiana Tech may score more than 10 points fewer per game, they also allow nearly 10 points fewer per game. And defensively, SMU simply doesn't have what it takes to stop any competent defense, allowing nearly 500 yards per game. This game is likely to be a shootout that's settled on the final possession. 12 Florida International vs. Temple 7.5 Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, December 21. Temple seems like the obvious choice in this game, which is represented by the 7.5-point spread. However, the Owls were wildly inconsistent this season and have proven themselves just as capable of falling in upset fashion as they have winning in upset fashion. In games where they've faced strong opponents, the Owls have surrendered at least 43 points each time against UCF, USF and Notre Dame. Needless to say, the potential for an upset in the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl has much more to do with the Owls than it does Florida International, who are also on both ends up an upset this season. 11 UAB vs. Ohio 7.5 Bahamas Bowl, December 22. The Bobcats may be heavy favorites and deservedly so, but the experts may be sleeping on UAB a bit. After terminating the football program in 2014, the Blazers turned to head coach Bill Clark in hopes of resurrection in 2017 and they got exactly that. Not only did the UAB football program return, they were led to an 84 record and their first bowl game since 2004. From a sheer on-the-field standpoint, Ohio is the better team. But the UAB Cinderella story is one win away from being completed and there's stock to be put in that. Sometimes things are just meant to be. 10 Utah 7.5 vs. West Virginia, Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, December 26. West Virginia being without two of its top players largely contributes to them being underdogs. They may not have running back Justin Crawford or quarterback Will Grier in this one, but they still have Kennedy McCoy to help carry the load, and he's averaged 5.1 yards per carry. While the Utes are the stronger team defensively, they fell apart down the final stretch, losing 6 of their final 8 games. If nothing else, this game should be much closer than the 7.5-point spread would indicate. 9 Purdue vs. Arizona 4 Foster Farms Bowl, December 27. Purdue Arizona should probably be close to a pick'em, but Vegas still has the Wildcats as 4-point favorites. The reason for that is obvious. Led by Tall quarterback Khalil Tate, Arizona averages nearly 42 points per game and puts up nearly 500 yards in total offense weekly. But the Boilermakers are made specifically to win on the defensive side of the ball, allowing fewer than 20 points per game. If they can get anything of quality on offense, Purdue will absolutely have an opportunity to walk away with an upset. 8 Virginia Tech vs. Oklahoma State for Camping World Bowl, Deck. 28 Virginia Tech and Oklahoma State each underperformed compared to expectations this season, but both finished inside the top 25 nonetheless. And in the Camping World Bowl, all eyes will be on quarterbacks Josh Jackson and Mason Rudolph. The outcome of the game will likely come down to Rudolph, who has to find a way to compete against a Hokies defense that allows fewer than 14 points and under 190 yards passing per game. 7. Wake Forest 3.0 vs. Texas A&M, Belk Bowl, December 29. Offensively and defensively, the numbers are basically a wash between Wake Forest and Texas A&M. And while many may not want to hear it, the Aggies faced a much more difficult schedule in 2017 thanks to intense SEC West battles. That's not to dismiss what the Demon Deacons faced in the ACC, especially against teams like Clemson, but losing to mediocre teams like Duke and Florida State doesn't breed much confidence against a tough SEC opponent. 6. Arizona State vs. NC State 6 Hyundai Sun Bowl, Dec. 29. The Wolfpack had moments where they looked like legitimate contenders in 2017, coming up with big wins over the then-ranked Florida State Seminoles and Louisville Cardinals, but then had letdowns against Wake Forest and Clemson, a game they led at halftime. Meanwhile, the Sun Devils bounced back from a 23 start to finish with 5 wins in their last 7 games. That stretch included a major victory over Washington. If Arizona State can play a little defense under their new defensive leadership, they're most certainly poised for an upset win in the Sun Bowl. 5. Northwestern 7.5 vs. Kentucky, Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl, Dec. 29. Northwestern scores more points per game, allows fewer points per game and puts up more yards per game than Kentucky, so it's no surprise they are 7.5-point favorites heading into the Music City Bowl. However, it's Wildcats running back Benny Snell who's going to make the difference in this late December game. Averaging more than 5.0 yards per carry and having scored 18 touchdowns on the season, Kentucky will control the clock by handing Snell the rock early and often. 4. Ohio State 7.5 vs. USC, Cotton Bowl, December 29. Throw out the records, throw out the statistics and throw out the point spread. The Cotton Bowl puts together 2 of the best college football programs between USC and Ohio State. There's a deep and rich history between these 2 programs, and it has produced some wild upsets and classic games. Why would the 2017 Cotton Bowl be any different? Ohio State hasn't looked great of late, while USC's offense ensures they're a factor in all their games. This battle of 11-win teams will likely come down to the wire. 3. Louisville 7 vs. Mississippi State Tax-Slayer Bowl, Dec. 30. Louisville may be the popular pick because of quarterback Lamar Jackson, but they've been on the wrong end of more than a few upsets this season. Case in point losses to Boston College, Wake Forest and NC State. And against a strong Mississippi State defense that is suck-tested, someone other than Jackson is going to have to step up. If not, the Bulldogs, who lost 3 of their 4 games to top 13 opponents, will walk away with a big upset in the Tax-Slayer Bowl. 2. Washington vs. Penn State 2.0 Fiesta Bowl, Dec. 30. The 2-point spread in the Fiesta Bowl may not be enough to consider a Penn State loss a true upset, but going into the game, many were picking the Nittany Lions. And as we've seen this season, they're more than capable of losing a handle on a game. They are considered favorites Michigan State. On the other side, the Huskies have a rushing attack that can match Penn State's, as well as an X-factor in Dante Pettis, who is capable of scoring in multiple ways. 1. Wisconsin 6.5 vs. Miami, Orange Bowl, Dec. 30. It wasn't that long ago the Miami Hurricanes were in the national championship hunt, but consecutive losses to Pittsburgh and Clemson ultimately did them in. For Wisconsin, it was a final week loss to Ohio State that eliminated them from the same contention. Now the 2 square off in the Orange Bowl, where the Badgers are 6.5-point favorites. The 2 teams have equally strong offenses and top-notch defenses, but it's the it factor that matters most. And with no bias attached, the U has seemed to dominate the it factor all year, judging by how often they broke out the turnover chain during the season.